Love's Decoy. As she kicked her long, shapely legs high to the torrid drum at Rye City's brightest night spot, Sarah Morgan was more confident than ever that she would soon realize her lifelong ambition to become a top dancer. She worked hard, had come a long way from her small hometown, and even though she was only a showgirl now, part of a chorus, she knew that someday her big chance would come. But Sarah had to learn first that love is one thing that cannot be sacrificed, even for a career.
There he is again, Sarah, that handsome stranger. And you're the one he keeps staring at every night.
And he's alone as usual. I wonder who he is. If I could only meet him. My heart skipped a beat as my eyes again were attracted to that handsome face and dazzling smile. But all thought of the intriguing stranger vanished when the matron called me as I walked off the stage.
Mr. Bailey wants to see you in his office, Sarah, right away.
Thanks, Mrs. Brooks. Maybe he's ready to give me a feature spot in his new review. That had been my lifelong aim. It would mean that the years of training and weary jobs in cheap clubs, the dirty rooming houses had been worthwhile. Now, perhaps. You wanted to see me, Mr. Bailey?
Come in, Sarah, and close the door. This is strictly private between you and me. Sarah, I've had my eye on you for a long time. You got a lot on the ball, and I like to give you a break. Tell me, what do you want out of life? Fancy clothes, mink coats, diamonds?
There's only one thing I really want, Mr. Bailey, a spot. As a featured dancer here at the club.
It's yours, and call me Barton. It sounds more cozy. Of course, you have to do me a little favor first.
What do you want me to do? The first rush of elation drained from my heart at his next words. I should have known there'll be strings attached to such an attractive offer.
It's very simple. I want you to play up to Mr. Bruce Eberly. You know, get friendly with him, win his confidence. For you, it'll be a cinch.
If it's the only way, all right, I'll do it. I'll go change now. I didn't stop to ponder the reason behind Bailey's request. I thought only of the featured role, soon to be mine. I quickly dressed and met Barton at the edge of the crowded floor. But when I look at the table, Barton pointed out, my pulse quickened. The man I was to vamp was the handsome stranger. That man sitting alone, I've noticed him before.
That's your man, honey. Just win his confidence. That's all you have to do for the moment.
It seemed almost as though fate had decreed a way for me to meet my handsome admirer. I started toward him, and the waiter passed by, seemingly stumble.
Look out!
I'm sorry, it was very clumsy of me.
Of course not, it was an accident. Please sit down. I've been just waiting for a chance to meet you. My name is Bruce Eberly.
And I'm Sarah Morgan. I'll accept your invitation on one condition, that you forgive me. At close range, Bruce Eberly was even more attractive than when I first saw him from the stage. Barton had warned me not to mention his name, but he had nothing to fear. It was no trouble at all concentrating on Bruce, and in no time we were laughing and talking like old friends then.
I hope I don't seem too bold, Sarah, but may I meet you after the show?
The last show goes on pretty late, and I must go straight home. But yes, that would be wonderful, Bruce. I couldn't hardly wait for the final chords in the last number, and when the curtain closed, I hurriedly dressed and left the club. So you managed to sit through 2 more shows?
It hasn't been an effort. I could watch you dance forever, Sarah.
After the first meeting, I saw Bruce at every opportunity. Doing even the simplest things held a measure of excitement I've never dreamed of. One afternoon, I packed a lunch and we drove into the country.
Say, where you learned to cook. That was terrific.
I have you know you're looking at the best cook in Middleton High School's cooking class.
And I'm looking at the loveliest girl in Middleton or anywhere else in the world. Sarah, darling, you must know how I feel about you.
Yes, Bruce, I know. Life was one gay adventure after another with Bruce from then on. He was everything a girl dreams of. handsome, intelligent, and with the charm that set my heart aglow. Then, one evening, I entered the dressing room to find
Hurry up and open it, Sarah. We've been dying to know what it is.
a fur scarf. Why? It's beautiful.
Lucky girl.
Here's a note that came with it, Sarah.
The note was from Barton Bailey. "Keep up the good work," it reads. Puzzled, I hurried to Bailey's office for an explanation.
You've done a good job of getting to know Bruce Eberly, and I wanted you to know that Barton Bailey keeps his word. That scarf is just the beginning.
Bruce? But why is that so important to you?
I have another little job for you, posing for a picture. Just make sure your friend is in on it.
But why? I don't understand.
You don't have to understand. Have Eberly sign the folder the photograph comes in. Tell him you want his autograph. Anything. Just get his signature.
No, I can't do it. It sounds strange.
Too bad. Just when I had plans to give you that featured spot in the new show.
Feature spot. All right, Barton. I'll do it. The thrill of attaining my goal drowned out the small voice inside me that cried out a warning. I told myself that Barton probably had a legitimate reason for wanting Bruce's signature, and blinding my eyes was the vision of my name in lights, a star. Then Barton's arms encircled me and... Please, Barton, don't.
Okay, Sarah, but remember, I always get what I want eventually.
I left his office, my mind torn with conflict, but each time I waver on the brink of indecision, that bait Barton had held out to me erase all else from my thoughts. The next night, I went dancing with Bruce at a club where I knew there would be a photographer. "Look, Bruce, there's a photographer. Let's have our picture taken."
Anything you want, darling. Let's hope I don't break the camera.
"Soon."
Do I really look like that?
"It's a very good picture of you. Would you autograph it for me? Just your name. I want it for my album." Still telling myself that it was all a harmless game, I took the signed photograph to Barton. But my heart sank when, later that same night, Barton handed me a phony letter with Bruce's signature on it.
Never mind what's in the letter. All you have to do is plant it in Eberly's pocket tonight. I'll handle things from that point.
"I won't do it. Oh, I know I made a bargain with you, but I can't help feeling there's something dishonest behind it."
Come on, I want to show you something. Maybe this will change your mind.
"I won't do it, I tell you, my mind's made up."
This is it, honey. Everything is set for you to do a sold act tonight. If...
At last, all my dreams come true. Bruce would understand, and Bailey couldn't mean to harm him. He wouldn't. "All right, Barton, I'll take the letter." Just before the show, I sent Bruce a note to come to my dressing room. My heart cried out to him when I saw his eyes so full of love and trust. He swept me into his arms, and the throbbing of my heart was like the primitive drums of the band outside.
I'm glad you've reached your goals, darling. You're so fine and good, you deserve only the best. That's why I love you. I have something to ask you as soon as I take care of an important matter.
And I love you whatever happens, darling. Remember that. That night I danced with a wide abandon I'd never before experienced. The torrid rhythms of music enveloped me like a consuming flame. Bruce's passionate yet tender kiss still burned my lips. But I glanced over at his table. A sudden chill gripped me. Those men at Bruce's table, they look like police. The letter Barton gave me, is that what they're after? What have I done? What have I done? The moment the music stopped, I rushed into Barton's office. Oblivious to the thunderous applause greeting my solo dance, I knew now that I had been deluding myself that Bailey meant no harm. My success had meant more than Bruce's love, and now... What's this all about? Where have they taken Bruce?
Take it easy, honey. The cops did a good job, didn't they? Say, how do you like this hunk of fur? Genuine mink, and it's all yours. Now that I'm rid of Eberly, the nosy flatfoot, we can… Hey, be careful with that coat.
I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. I demand to know what you've done to Bruce. Only when Barton explained the grimy details of his plot to frame Bruce did I realize I had been used as a decoy to ruin the man I love. Bruce was a detective, and I was the one who had betrayed him to the unscrupulous Barton.
Sure, he was a cop, and he was too nosy for his own good. Dug up some things about the way I run the club. I had to get rid of him.
And that letter with Bruce's name on it, that was part of the scheme too?
The letter did the trick. It mentioned a $15,000 bribe to leave me alone. That will get him kicked off the force for good. And if you want to keep that pretty face of yours, you'll keep quiet.
Stop. You're hurting me. Please, Barton, I won't talk. I broke away from Barton's grasp and somehow made my way home knowing that one of Bailey's henchmen followed me. The next morning, the local papers carried stories of Bruce's discharge. My eyes were red with weeping as I sank into a deep pit of loneliness and despair. I must tell the truth. I can't let Bruce suffer. I will go to the police. The man who followed me, he's still there. I must find some way to duck him. Fully aware that I was taking my life into my hands, I threw on my coat and slipped downstairs. Then, taking a deep breath, I made a dash through the crowded street with Barton's thug hard on my heels. "Excuse me, please! Let me through!" I've got to make it. I must save Bruce. To the district attorney's office, a matter of life and death. I was sick with fright when I reached the district's attorney's office. There, I poured out the whole story of how Barton had framed Bruce, even the sordid role I had played in betraying the man who meant more to me than my career, more than even life itself. And that's the whole story. Everything is true.
This breaks the case wide open. Get every word of what she says.
Yes, sir.
Arrest Barton Bailey immediately and bring Eberly to my office.
I knew I had crucified myself, but inward peace I felt after speaking the truth in defense of the man I loved made me know that I could stand the years of loneliness that lay ahead for me. Suddenly, in response to an instinctive warning, I looked up. "That man, help!" A searing pain flashed through my shoulder. Mercifully, I blacked out. When I fought my way back to consciousness.
Hello there. You're a pretty lucky girl. It's only a flesh wound.
Did they get the man who shot me?
He's been captured and the police are rounding up Bailey and his gang.
Then Bruce is cleared. But there can be no life for me without him. If only…
Sarah, well, what happened? Are you all right?
Oh, Bruce, do I still mean anything to you that you should show such concern? Can you ever forgive me, darling?
I love you, Sarah. It's not hard to forgive the one you love. I guess part of the test of living is the will to make up for past mistakes.
The end.
And as always, like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified when Dramix uploads a new video. Thank you.